I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here at Hub Culture in Austin, and really pleased on our day focusing on water to be joined by Ailil and Bilal. Thanks for coming along, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Caterpillar Foundation and Charity Water. Now tell me, first of all, about your partnership.
Sure. Well, Caterpillar Foundation focuses on poverty alleviation, so we invest in communities where we live and work. We invest in education, access to clean water through basic human need, as well as sustainable environment and education. So Charity Water has been partners with us since 2010. We have a very competitive grant-making system, and so when we look for strong partners in this space, we want folks with very strong outcomes and return on investment. So when we looked at Charity Water and the projects that they do, they align very closely with the investments that we make. Charity Water is a phenomenal organization that focuses on bringing access to clean water to people all over the world. So I'll let Bilal share a little bit more about Charity Water.
Tell me.
Yeah, well, we're a non-profit organization, as you mentioned. We've been around since 2007, for 11 years, essentially. And we've been working on this every day since then. There's a few things that kind of set us apart in the charitable space. The first is that we have an innovative 100% model, so 100% of all public donations go directly to the field. So when our founder, Scott Harrison, started the organization, he found that 42% of Americans didn't trust charities, and that was astounding to us. But what we've realized was when we asked those people, why don't you trust charities? We found there were a few key things. One was that people didn't know how much went to the cause, how much went to operations, that breakdown. The second was people didn't understand where it went. So we set out to really change that with the 100% model, where 100% of public funds will go to one bank account, and our operations are funded from a second bank account. Well, we have around 120 families, part of the well, we call it. We have a lot of water puns. And they essentially fund all of our operations, our staff salaries, our office space, our flights to the field, so that 1 million unique people can give in a completely pure way.
Very transparent.
Yeah. And because of that, because we have two separate bank accounts, we can actually show you where the money went. So we use Google Maps and GPS coordinates, and even now we've got funded from a Google grant. We have remote water sensors where we're actually understanding how much water was flowing in particular projects we've put that into. And then the last part was really about creating a beautiful brand, right? If you think about building a brand built on hope versus guilt, that's the way we look at it. So instead of saying, look at this person, they will die if you don't help them, we'll say this person can become a doctor one day once we do help them. Okay. So that's kind of how we've really taken the approach to become outcome driven.
So tell me about some of the successes that have resulted from your partnership.
So since our partnership, we have invested in 90 countries and have served over 330,000 people. It's a number that we're extremely proud of. We're here today celebrating the launch of our campaign, The Value of Water. And there's so many different diverse issues around water, whether it's access to clean water, sanitation, building latrines or dams, or having disaster preparedness in communities that are prone to have floods. So when we think about the diversity of issues in the water space, partnering with an organization like Charity Water, a thought leader in this space and someone who's making a true difference, was really compelling and important to us. One of the values of this campaign is we want to ask people, what is your willingness if you didn't have access to water every single day? You think about you wake up in the morning and you shower, or you brush your teeth, or you just are thirsty after a night, and not having access to water, clean water, is such a difficult thing to kind of understand, especially when we don't have that here. And so being able to share the message, raise awareness, do it through activations like we are today. Folks are able to actually go through the Charity Water Water Walk, which is an amazing thing that Charity Water has cornered the market on. So.
Yeah, and so you can see outside here, we've got a water walk going where we essentially will show people and demonstrate that issue. So in developing countries, in Africa especially, people are walking 3, 4, 5 hours a day sometimes just to get to their closest water source, and often that is a dirty water source. So we just fill up these jerry cans up over here, which are about 40 pounds, and people will walk up and down. It takes about a minute, and it unlocks a donation from the Caterpillar Foundation today. But really it's about demonstrating that struggle, right? Because we don't have that issue in our day-to-day lives. So if I talk to you about another cause like cancer, maybe you know someone in your family that's been impacted by that, but most of us haven't had to walk 3 hours a day to get dirty water. So that's one way we've been doing it today. And then you can see out here, we also have a VR, virtual reality activation, where we're taking people through an 8-minute video that we've made. We show the story of a girl called Salam and what it was like to get water in her village. So the days before and after the water was brought to her. So it's a pretty magical moment when you see the water actually coming out.
Amazing.
We're actually a sponsor of this video. When Charity Water came to us to talk about this girl in Ethiopia, we were like, VR, kind of what is this cool new thing? And
Right.
so we're really proud to bring this video. And I think if you take a look inside the VR, you're able to really experience and see the dirty water. There's animals around the space, and you can see how dire and how far the water is to collect and what a little girl has to do to get that water to a clean state.
Yeah.
And also what she could do. I mean, I imagine what
Completely.
she could do as a result of having clean water and not having to walk.
Exactly. No, and that's a great point, because what we find is the hopeful stories, if you look at those stories, there's stories of girls going back to school, right? If you think about when you hit puberty and if there's no toilets and no clean water, you can't go to school anymore.
Yeah.
So the great thing is when we do bring in water in these schools and local villages, people can go back to school. And their mothers can become mothers again. They don't need to walk 3-4 hours a day. They have that time back. We hear stories of them setting up businesses, just being mothers again. We've even heard a story about a lady called Helen who, for her whole life, she had been rationing out the water, right, within her family, and it was dirty water. So when she finally got that beautiful clean water, she was able to wash her face, and she said, "This is the first time I felt beautiful." Right? So just those sort of stories we hear, that keeps us hopeful to continue trying to make an impact.
Edie, sometimes we get asked, why does the corporate foundation care about these investments? I mean, why does that impact global construction and mining industry? For us, it's also economic development. So if these stories don't touch your heart, it's an economic driver. For every year a girl goes to school, the GDP for an entire country is raised by 3%. So you think about all that money left on the table and the ability for girls and women to be educated and contribute to the overall economy, and how important that is when girls and women are left behind.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work with the global goals, and it seems to me that everything you guys are talking about reaches across the global goals. So from cities to education to gender equality to alleviating poverty, it seems like what you guys are doing are affecting at least 3/4 of the goals.
Yeah, it's the underlying cause of a lot of issues, and we've had this slogan for some time that water changes everything, and it is those stories of education and female empowerment and economic development that people don't often know that part of the water crisis. So a lot of our job is to share those stories with people and share the stats that are covered. So $1 invested into water is $4 to $12 in economic development, depending on what number you look at and what part of the world you're looking at. So those are if you think about return on investment, right, that is the return on investment that you're developing in these regions.
For us, it's such a massive issue, and you think about this mountain that we have to climb, and we can only do that by partnering together. It takes the private, the public, the government, every sector to come together to be able to solve all of these massive issues. And we have a tagline in our foundation called Together Stronger. It's sort of silly to think that one corporation, one nonprofit can solve all of these issues around poverty alleviation. Therefore, if we work together, that's the only way we can solve these issues.
Goal number 17. Thank you guys very much for stopping by and for the amazing activation that you've done here today. It's been really incredible to learn and watch. And thank you to you for watching as well.